I want to cover a Squatty Potty in rhinestones. Silver rhinestones. I want to make a disco ball Squatty Potty. What is a Squatty Potty, you may ask? Name brand Squatty Potty is actually a Shark Tank product. Squatty Potty, or in off-brand lingo, a bathroom toilet stool, is a simple device that raises your knees above your hips to put you in a squat-like position while you go. This position is said to move your colon into the ideal position to go without straining. This project was inspired by this image that my eyes were lucky enough to witness a couple weeks ago. Instagram user Lolamella covered this Squatty Potty in a hodgepodge of pony beads and a cacophony of other Y2K beads and gems. You should go follow her. I think she's having a giveaway for one of her Squatty Potties in the next couple months. So I bought 2,000 tiny rhinestones for $7.59. I covered a hand mirror in tiny rhinestones. This was so I had a smaller project to try out rhinestoning on. I discovered a few things in that process about tools and glue. With the mirror, I would squeeze some glue out onto some paper, dab little bits of glue onto the mirror with bobby pins, and put rhinestones into that glue using tweezers, a wax pencil, or just my hands. But I had to move fast so that all the rhinestones were in place before the glue dried. Also, if you use too much glue, the rhinestones can sink right into the glue, get glue on top of them, lose their sparkle, and look really messy. E6000 requires both speed and precision. Next, E6000 smells terrible. E6000 stinks. This stuff smells terrible and, according to one Google search that I did, may be carcinogenic. For that reason, I found it's really important to have good ventilation with this type of project. I had windows open and an air filter running nearby. Additionally, I wasn't totally consistent with this, but I did try to wear a face mask a lot of the time when working with this glue. I figured that it wouldn't hurt to try avoiding breathing in the chemicals too much. Next, rhinestone sizing. Small rhinestones look better than bigger rhinestones. In my personal opinion, the smaller the rhinestones you use, the more luxurious the end result looks. Small rhinestones just sparkle differently. I found that tiny rhinestones were a lot of work to arrange neatly. It took me close to 6 hours to rhinestone the hand mirror. I decided that that amount of work would not quite be worth my time on the Squatty Potty. So after this little experiment, I decided that round rhinestones would not be good for this project. You can't really puzzle them together all that well. There end up being all these blank little gaps between each rhinestone. For the big project, I ordered bigger square rhinestones. And I can only hope that the blinged out Squatty Potty gives off big disco ball energy. I watched a few very strange tutorials. They said that E6000 was easier to work with if you put it in little syringes and squeeze it out a little bit at a time. So I bought some of those. I really hope I can make this look good. I want this to look like a real fashion object, like one of the objects on the collage that they always put on the third to the last page of Vogue. Can I create a funny, stylish item? And will anyone care? If a strange craft woman glues rhinestones onto a Squatty Potty in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, depends on what you ate that day. Also, check out my candy striped nails. I'll show you how I made those. So I bought a brand spanking new clean Squatty Potty for this. Comment below who you think I should send this to when I'm done. Very nice. I'm just gonna start by putting rhinestones all along the side, and then I'll see what I have left over to see what I want to put on this edge here. So here are the syringes. Start with a nice little medium guy. I'm just gonna pop this out the back and put glue in there, so we'll see. Holy moly. Oh gosh. Oh no.
Oh goodness.
Will it go? Is it gonna go? Oh. Ugh. Oh, it worked. Oh, this is perfect. The lid, the lid. Well, the syringe filling went a lot better than I thought it would, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. These are my beautiful rhinestones, 2,000 of them. Okay, so this is the inside, so I'm just gonna start there. Everything I'm wearing is pretty much handmade. I made this scrunchie out of extra fabric from my Barbie costume. I Frankensteined a couple t-shirts together to come up with this. And these are polymer clay earrings, so I made pretty much everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna get gluing at this. This Squatty Potty is getting stoned. Rhinestone. Okay, let's try just placing little dots of glue where I know the rhinestones will be. Oh, that works pretty good. Look at that. That looks great. And we're going around the corner. E6000 with A6000 on the Squatty Potty. Oh, yeah. Oh, that looks great. I'm not worried at all now. Has anybody else had Mr. Sandman stuck in their head for the last like 5 years? Is that just me?
Bring me a dream.
Yeah, I really like having the syringe. That is really nice and controlled. And I didn't even, it comes with a bunch of little tips to put on the end. I didn't even have to use any of them. Okay, enough of my face. Let's show you what I'm doing. This is all pretty self-explanatory, but I'm using a syringe to squeeze beads of glue onto the Squatty and pushing the square rhinestones into the glue. I'm using a pencil eraser to really push the rhinestones into the glue and try to get the glue to spread out over as much surface area as possible under the rhinestone. Hopefully this will give the glue a strong, long-term hold. This is about how far I've gotten. I think it looks fantastic. I'm really excited with how it's going. I am very, very sweaty, so I'm going off camera. Day 2 of 3 began with iced coffee and some torn out magazine pages because a white Squatty Potty on white paper on a white desk was all getting pretty old. Cut the E6000 bottle in half, trying to scrape up some of the remaining glue that wasn't all dried up yet. I try to do this with everything: makeup, lotion, toothpaste, food stuff. Containers are not precious in any way, and they end up just getting thrown away, so you might as well hack up the packaging to utilize the last of the product. The most difficult part of this project is definitely getting the gems to stick around the curves of the Squatty Potty. I bought this off-brand Squatty Potty in particular because I thought it would have the least amount of curves to deal with. I use a generous amount of glue on the curved edges to really make sure everything stays in place. I decided to freshen up my homemade turd table. I decided to freshen up my turd table. What's on your turd table? Anyway, I decided to freshen up my homemade turntable with 2 coats of white paint before my grand reveal. I didn't put any rhinestones here because I didn't want it to scratch up anybody's toilet. I added little rhinestones in between just to kind of fill it out. And this is to put a little air freshener in there. I also just wanted to point out that there are a few spots where there was a little bit of blank space, and I filled that extra blank space in with a couple of round rhinestones that I had. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I post my weird craft videos on Thursday mornings, usually anyway. I try to make weird things that I think should exist or, you know, exist differently. And I try to help you find fun new hobbies along the way. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.